Well, we have our stockings that I got custom made from Etsy.
Hung by the display shelf with abandon.
Care. I did it with care. I tried very hard not to move anybody's stuff.
Yeah, but you also didn't give me my metal plate.
That's because it's out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you specifically bought me it because it looked like Queen Cersei's crown.
Well, it's just like
as if we don't have enough representation of Queen Cersei in this.
It's just a snowflake. I just figured we could have matching ones when we're back here. Give you your little wolf. You have a little wolf.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a fox, and Will has a moose.
Moose. Hello, everybody. I am Will.
And I'm Kristin.
And this is So I'm Watching This Show, your twice-weekly pop culture podcast where we talk about movies, TV, music, and more. Yeah, this is a spoiler show.
Yes.
Well, I was like, we're just going to kind of talk about a couple things, but we will most likely be going straight to the end with each and every one of them.
So here's what we're doing. We're talking about 4 Netflix Christmas movies. Netflix.
I watched 3, so this will be exciting.
Oh, fun. I watched an extra one then, I guess. I watched 4 Christmas movies that are streaming currently. They're Christmas movies. They're mostly for kids. They all have happy endings.
Yes, okay, we've been through this though. That's the fact that the movie ends with the
happy Christmas.
Everything tidied is not the spoiler.
Okay.
The spoiler is how we get to that
there.
point.
Fine, fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, what were we? It was a literal mystery, and you were, Enola Holmes,
yeah.
And you were like, I mean, it's not the kind of thing that can be spoiled, and I was like, it quite literally is.
I don't know how to get my point across, but I feel like I didn't get my point across.
If you want to hear, this is going to be an episode for the ages, I feel like.
I had a point, and I couldn't vocalize it. I know what I meant when we were talking about that.
You meant that it was low stakes because it's Enola Holmes.
It's like there's no
children's
stakes.
Mystery.
Who cares if it gets spoiled?
To which I think most people would, because it's a literal whodunit.
And I said fair, and I stopped talking about it. You're the one that keeps bringing it up.
This is the 3rd time I've brought it up. What did you watch?
I watched the Christmas Chronicles 2.
Uh-huh.
And then I watched Holidate.
Uh-huh.
And I watched Jingle Jangle.
Uh-huh.
And I watched Godmothered.
I did not watch Godmothered.
Okay.
Is that the one you want to talk about?
Well, I don't need to talk about, like, the specifics of it, but, okay. I didn't want to start with this right out the gate, but, like, it was so weird and silly, but after Holidate, it was my favorite one.
Oh.
Yeah. It's very cute. It's on Disney Plus. The rest of them, I think,
and it's not a Christmas movie, though.
No, it's Christmas
adjacent.
It's like happening during Christmas. Everything's during Christmas.
Oh.
It was cute. It's Jillian Bell and Isla Fisher, and Jillian Bell is like she's a fairy godmother, and Jane Curtin is like queen of the fairy godmothers.
Oh,
she's like pretty? The leader. Not really. I mean, she makes herself pretty a couple of times, but they're basically the like godmother.
Are they pretty or precious?
They're prettier than they are precious,
okay.
But they're a little bit darker than. They're not all wearing like pink ball gowns.
Okay.
They're like a little more austere, I guess.
Oh. Okay.
So basically the like godmother program is going to shut down because they haven't had a new wish in like 30 years or something ridiculous. So Jillian Bell basically like leaves to go to like where the wishes come in, and she finds this wish from a little girl, and she decides to go and help her. And it turns out that that letter is so old that it's Isla Fisher as a grown-up, and she
disillusioned.
Yes, quite.
Because her wish didn't get.
No, not because of the wish. She just is disillusioned. You find out a couple of things about like stuff that happened in her marriage, and like her kids, her daughters both have like their own issues. And Mary Elizabeth Ellis is her sister, the waitress.
Yeah. Okay, I love her
from It's Always Sunny, and so she's her sister. And it's basically like a lot of it is like really dumb Jillian Bell things where she's just like.
Yeah, but that can go.
It does. It's like, so it's very, very silly for a while. Like she enchants a raccoon to help them with like house chores. And it felt
like a weird spinoff to Enchanted. Does it have that
little
vibe?
It's a little vibe like that. But I don't want to say she's not as charming as Amy Adams, but I think she doesn't have the gravitas beneath.
Well, we weirdly think that should have been an Oscar nominated performance. So.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But basically, it's really cute. I really liked how it all how it went along, and this is kind of a weird deep cut. The man, spoiler alert for Big Little Lies. A middle spoiler alert for Big Little Lies. The man,
season 1 or season 2? Because
season one.
Okay.
The man who Reese Witherspoon's having an affair with is the love interest. Yeah. Okay. So I liked it. I don't really want to tell you too much more than that.
Okay.
I think it's cute. I think it's worth a watch. It's very silly. I can't stress how silly it is. But I like Jillian Bell, and I feel like she hasn't exactly had her moment yet. Yeah.
Because she came into my radar very late, and it was 22 Jump Street.
Yeah.
I think she burgles that movie.
So apparently we need to watch Brittany Runs a Marathon because it's apparently amazing. It's like a really, really good performance. This is like, it's not like super slapsticky, but it's very silly, and it's very like, oh, she doesn't know about human stuff.
There was weirdly a rumor. It was in production. I don't know whatever happened to it, but I was actually excited for it, where they were going to do a gender-swapped Splash remake, and she was going to be the human,
it was like
and
her and
Channing Tatum was going to be the merman.
Yeah.
And
that'd be funny.
I wanted it so bad. And I was like, because people were making like art of it, and they kept him with the short hair, and I was like, I beg I was like, well, he's going to get a makeover and they'll cut his hair. But I was like, sure, I can't with the merman with the buzz cuts. You go on Instagram and it's like all over the place. It's like here at the minimum
for a merman.
I'll maybe do like the Dario Naharis.
Sure.
But so okay. So
I liked Godmothered. Yeah. I thought it was a good Christmas movie. It was cute. It had a very heartwarming ending. It was nice. I liked it.
I'm actually pretty excited too. Maybe it's just because they're quote unquote for free, movies that come with the streaming services. And we like to not degrade them. Yeah. Even though we almost always do. It factors in. It's unfortunate, but it does factor in. It
does a little bit, but it's like, I don't know. There's so many people who are like making these exclusive deals with the streaming services where it's like, I'm sorry, I didn't like The Irishman. Martin Scorsese still made a movie for Netflix. That's a thing. Like David Fincher just released a movie for Netflix.
But I mean, like the fact that they're just sort of like presented to us. Yeah. Like we're not getting trailers for months. We're not like building up hype and all that. They just sort of like.
I think it makes them, because at this point, Promising Young Woman cannot be as good as I think it is in my head. I've been waiting almost a year to see this movie. There's no way it's going to live up to the hype I've created in my own mind. Whereas I sat down and watched Godmothered like 1 week after I knew it was coming out, and I had a delightful time.
It was like how we actually liked Desperados.
It was cute. Super cute.
And that is a hot take. If ever there was, like, we were just sort of...
Super cute. Nassim Pedrad and Lamorne Morris have excellent chemistry. I loved it.
It reminds me of the Cloverfield Paradox, where I was like...
That's the one with...
Gugu and Elizabeth Debicki. And only those two. I have no memory of a single other person.
David Oyelowo is in it as well, yeah. But that's where my knowledge ends.
I was like, imagine for like 6 months, someone's like, you're going to get a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
It's going to be so good. You just have to trust me how good
this is. The best cheeseburger you've ever eaten.
It's amazing. It's going to change your life. Blah, blah, blah. And then you get like a Big Mac from McDonald's. You're going to be like, what the fuck is this shit?
This is not a cheeseburger. This is a separate establishment.
Now imagine it's like the middle of the night and you're kind of drunk and kind of hungry. And then there's just a Big Mac in your kitchen.
Yeah. And you're like, if your brother came home at midnight and was like, hey, got you a Big Mac, you'd be like, sweet.
So that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, what? This is
Big
just
Mac
on my TV? Like,
we're not sponsored by McDonald's.
No.
But we would be. I would eat a McFlurry every day if you required it of me.
Good luck. Those machines stay broken.
That's true. That's true.
So that is going to be a theme, at least for me, I think, of the rest of this episode, I guess, maybe. Or I don't know, maybe people should be like sitting on the edge of their seats. I don't know. I kind of liked it all.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
So I started with Jingle Jangle. And I did go ahead and write down a little bit about it in case this is like your first...
You're trying to figure out what you want to watch for Christmas.
Introduction to any of this stuff. But so decades after his apprentice betrays him, a once joyful toy maker finds new hope when his bright young granddaughter appears at his doorstep. And then...
little misleading.
It's a 2020 American Christmas musical fantasy comedy drama film written and directed by David E. Talbert, and it stars Forrest Whitaker, Keegan-Michael Key, Hugh Bonneville, Anika Noni Rose, Felicia Rashad, Ricky Martin, and introducing Madeline Mills.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did you think?
I liked it okay. I will admit at the start, I paid less attention to this than I should have, to like the songs specifically, where I was like, oh, that's got a nice beat. And then I was like not really paying attention to the lyrics. I got the gist of the story and I liked it and the performances were good, but I should have paid better attention.
So, hard same.
Okay.
I was Christmas decorating.
Okay.
So, unfortunately for this movie, well, I liked it. I'm going to give it a big old
me too. Yeah,
thumbs up recommendation,
sure.
recommendation. But unfortunately for this movie, it did not have my undivided attention.
Mm-hmm.
But I found it to be beautiful.
Yeah, very pretty.
Gorgeous.
Really pretty, really colorful, very diverse.
Just so rich.
Yeah.
Like the colors were just so
jewel tones and like dark Christmas colors.
And I went back and forth as to whether or not I thought we should talk about the fact that it is largely a black cast, but I will, because that, I mean,
it factors in. Yeah. It didn't feel like it was making a statement about it.
No, well, I was just going to talk about how, like, there's been this weird, like, for many people, like, Christmas has a very white American Christian connotation.
Boy, howdy.
And I like that we're sort of rewriting that. And I like that this sort of took place outside of time and space. Like, it was kind of old-timey in a way that we very rarely see Black people in the kind of almost Victorian clothing. And I loved all the stuff they did. It was very Victorian,
like the waistcoats and the big skirts and the... I think Anika Noni Rose had like a puffy...
Anika Noni Rose stands. Where are you at? Like, where's the Anika Noni Rose hive? Because I love her. So many.
What do we call ourselves? I'm here for it.
No, Nomans? I don't know. No,
that doesn't sound nice.
Nonis.
I mean, roses feels like it would just be, but it's also a little boring.
But and then the stuff that they did, frankly, with all of the women's hair, how it still was so, it had so much of the natural texture and stuff, but it
was such good hairstyles.
But it felt, because obviously, like, Victorian, like, different time periods had very sort of formal, fussy hairstyles, but they found a way to incorporate it.
They stuck with the natural hair texture and everything.
It was really, really fascinating. And
so, did you love the thirsty mail lady? I loved the
she was the
thirsty
best
mail lady.
Well, Miss Johnston. I literally, like, Miss Johnston is the best character.
I thought she was hilarious.
So
look, I love Forrest Whitaker. I'm not sure I would thirst after Forrest Whitaker, but she was like not laying down on the job about that. She was into him so hard.
We come in so hard. Like, the second song of this movie is, she
just was like, I'm into you and I'm not taking no for an answer.
So I have a really unfortunate, like, connection, I guess. I had a moment where for a hot second, because I was like multitasking, I saw her and I thought for a second, I was like, is she the other sister from Cinderella? And so I looked her up.
Not only is she not, but she just died. I saw that. That really bummed
Natalie
me out.
Desselle Reid.
Yeah, that really bummed me out.
I was actually, this is a weird place to go, but I was like actually kind of heartbroken.
Yeah, it's awful.
Because that was such a brilliant performance. And such a weird, iconic piece of art.
Yeah.
And
diverse art, too. Yeah. It's like a really big deal.
And so anyways.
She did remind me of her.
Did she? Okay.
She did, yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know how the ages, I think that woman was not old enough.
I think because she was like 53 when she died, I think, so.
So I did want to shout that out for Natalie Desselle Reid.
Yeah.
That she was, apparently there was like a podcast. Shoot, I don't think it was Jada Pinkett Smith. Someone had like a podcast where they talk about like Black performances and stuff. And I guess she was one of the most requested guests.
Oh my gosh.
And they had reached out to her at one point, but they just never got the connection. So I just really wanted to shout her legacy.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Because she was in a few other things. She was in Baps with Halle Berry. Halle Berry wrote this beautiful tribute.
Oh, did she? Oh, that's nice.
So, but back to Jingle Jangle. My first note, honestly, is I just said, finally, a fucking musical.
Yeah.
Every time that I'm complaining about there's not enough singing and dancing and shit in this.
There's enough singing and dancing in this. That is for damn sure.
And so I was watching this in the room with my brother and he loved it.
Yeah.
He has been listening to that first song.
The soundtrack, yeah.
Every morning. Like,
it was good.
It's his Get Pumped Up in the Morning song. Considering I was only paying half attention, I found the story a bit odd.
I will agree with odd. I think what kind of goes into the odd for me is Forrest Whitaker's performance, because he's very, like, I understand that he is in a weird spot when we come, because he is, you know, Mr. Jangle, like, later, but he's so weirdly dismissive of the girl and his apprentice, his little boy apprentice.
But it also was like the apprentice just like flipped a switch into like storybook villain in a way that it was, I mean, Keegan-Michael Key is great, and I love what he did with it, but I don't know, it was weird.
Well, it's also one of those, it's like almost a gift of the Magi thing, because like, obviously spoilers, at the very end, Geronicus is like, this was in the package I was going to give you for dinner before you, like 2 seconds after you ran away. And it was just like the thing he needed for his toy. And it's just like, like, how did Ricky Martin brainwash you that fast?
Okay, well, my third note
he was the best.
Is I kind of want to fuck this toy.
I'm gonna definitely fuck this toy.
But do you get my tweet now where I was like the picture of him and then Keira Knightley's Sugar Plum Fairy? Yeah. And I was like, 100%. Get these two a movie? Together.
The tin toy and no, he was very funny. Very funny. It was also weird for him. Like, it was really weird that this like prototype had like free will and an independent personality, which to the point where he was like, I'm one of a kind. There can be no other like me. And I was like, oh, okay. What did you put in him?
Well, and on that note, it was, I think, rather spectacular production values and special effects. And that goes for the entire slate of movies that we watched.
Godmothered, just to go back to that, it was mostly very slight on the special effects.
But the story doesn't require.
Yeah, but it ended up feeling very nice that it was slight. It was like she makes sparkles out of her wand a couple of times, and it was good. I liked that that's the way they went.
This is just a question for you, kind of about Jingle Jangle, but I guess these movies in general. How do you feel about the moral of just believe? Does it ring true to you, or does it feel hollow or vacant?
I guess it depends on what you're talking about, because I don't know that is good enough for like Santa, but I think I think the better theme would be like hope. You should have hope, because just believing in something doesn't make it true.
Especially when you're dealing with like literal magic.
Yeah. If there's one thing we know, believing something doesn't make it true.
Well, the way the last 4 years have worked.
Look. Some of those things are still not true. But regardless, I think just believe and everything will be fine is one thing. But I kind of more subscribe to The Princess and the Frog, where it's like, there has to be a middle ground. You have to do your work also.
I think that was the ultimate, like, sort of like crescendo. I thought it left it a little toothless. I would have preferred something a bit more.
Yeah.
Like maybe.
Because you're right. That's what he lost his belief. And so he couldn't do like math in the air anymore. Which is what it was.
Yeah, I was a little confused. Yeah. And I think, especially given the gift of the Magi element, they could have said more about like friendship or communication or trust or it. I don't know. I felt like it was a little.
I totally agree, because there's so many points in the movie where it's like he hasn't spoken to his daughter, Anika Noni Rose, in like 25 years or something ridiculous. Like as soon as she was an adult, she like left and they never spoke again. Mm-hmm. And that's just sort of like. I mean...
Well, that part, definitely has sort of like... It had like an old school, like Christmas Carol type of vibe.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it did get a little bit bonkers when we got to the climax.
Yeah.
There was, I think I actually went, Jesus Christ, when they were flying through the whirling blades.
Yeah.
But kids these days, you need that.
They gotta have it.
Yeah, but if for no other reason, just the jovial, like the music, the dance, there's a scene in the middle where they have
thirsty male lady
where they have a snowball fight, and it's just this kind of like island pop song.
Yeah, it was really good. Really good.
Much worse uses of your time than this.
Definitely.
So I guess from there I will go to Christmas Chronicles 2.
Okay.
Did you watch the first one?
I didn't watch it again, but I watched it 2 years ago when it came out.
I went ahead and did watch it again, and I'm glad, because I didn't remember it. Yeah. I thought I did, but I didn't. Okay. This is a doozy of a franchise for me.
Why do you say that?
I'm ultimately in.
Okay, me too.
Like in the general sense, I'm like, yeah. I think it's great. But at any given moment, I'm sort of like, what?
Yeah, it's totally bad shit.
Okay.
Will made a tweet while we were watching it, and he was like, I wonder what PETA's gonna say about Santa hucking that, like, ice cat into the atmosphere.
I literally was like, Jola? What? Well, okay. Okay.
Is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, the Christmas Chronicles.
Snow leopard. That's what she was. I said ice cat. I mean, it works. It works.
The Christmas Chronicles is simultaneously too young and dumb and too
mature,
edgy and mature.
Yeah.
And
look, you can't have a Santa Claus as hot as Kurt Russell and then still be that much for kids.
Well, okay, so it's my favorite brand, and this is doing like 40% of the work for me. I keep looking at that camera, and I don't know why, and I just broke to talk about the cameras. So that is like easily 40% of my enjoyment of this franchise. Is it's my preferred type of Santa and Mrs. Claus, which is in between sexy and
like,
old.
Age appropriate, but still sexy.
Like, yeah. I apparently am a huge Kurt Russell fan, and that I stumbled upon that realization much later than you would think I would. But I do actually love that he has this, like, people think that, like, calling, like, I don't know, Shawn Mendes and, like,
Daddy?
Justin Bieber daddy, that's what that is. And that's not what that is.
Kurt Russell's Santa Claus is a daddy. Daddy Santa.
But it's like classic, but
there's a twist. It's classic, but it's also modern.
Yeah, I don't know. I really was into his thing in the first movie, and the whole time I was kind of like, "Oh my god, I wonder if we're going to get Mrs. Claus." And then I was like, "Oh my god, could you imagine if it was Goldie Hawn?"
Did you forget from
the first time?
Oh, okay.
And so, sure enough, that's like what we got. Yeah. And also, I found it hilarious that like the first movie is and Oliver Hudson. And he plays their father,
who's dead.
Yeah. He's in the like home video footage during the opening credits, and then he's like in the Christmas ornament at the end. That is the entirety of Oliver Hudson's
That's it for Oliver Hudson.
It just had an edge, because I remember the first one, there was like more so the first one than the second one, but there was like organized crime in there was like drug dealers.
Maybe I should have rewatched it.
It was kind of odd. But what I loved about the first one was the world building. Mm-hmm. I loved the warp. I can't think of what it's called.
Sort of like a wormhole
that they go through, and you can see like pyramids and like the Arc de Triomphe and stuff while they're like going through it. And I'm gonna say something controversial and brave. What? I like the elves.
Oh, I think they're cute.
Yeah. I like the language. Mm-hmm. I like how it sounds. Mm-hmm. I like that they're sort of like critters, and it just
they remind me of the little dogs in The Beauty and the Beast, the French
Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, I was super into it. So this particular one, Christmas Chronicles 2, is teenager Katie Pierce is reunited with Santa Claus when a troublemaker threatens to cancel Christmas forever.
Mm-hmm. And it's the boy from Hunt for the Wilder People and Deadpool 2. He turned into a little shit, apparently.
Yeah. It features Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, Darby Camp, Judah Lewis, and Kimberly Williams Paisley with new cast members.
Oh, cast members.
Julian Dennison, Yahir Bruno. Is that how you say his name?
Sounds right.
Jahzir. Yahir. Yeah. Did not look it up.
Somebody correct us.
He's the cute little boy from The Witches.
Yes. Okay. And she is from Big Little Lies. Mm-hmm. And the brother is from The Babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
He's very cute. I'm excited to see what he does as a grown-up.
I would love to see him in another movie, because he wasn't in this one.
Not really.
Where this gets off saying it has Kimberly Williams, Tyrese Gibbons, and Judah Lewis. I have no clue, because they...
My issue number one, Tyrese Gibson's name in this movie is Bob. Unacceptable.
I want to know...
Bob?
I want to know in what reality where Tyrese and Kimberly Williams Paisley.
Where did they meet?
Where did they possibly, like, show me the common thread?
Where did they meet? I don't understand.
Did his plane crash in Nashville?
Like in Nashville.
So
no, I agree. Where did they meet? Why is his name Bob? Is so weird to me that it was. He's not even going by Robert. No, but he didn't go by Bob. Is not that man's name. That man who looks like Tyrese. His name is not Bob. I'm sorry.
Wearing fucking khaki shorts and like Tommy Bahama.
Yeah, it was. That's not Tyrese's vibe. We need to help him out with that.
So yeah, I loved the world building.
Yeah,
I loved the North Pole. I loved the sets.
I loved the more Mrs. Claus.
I do, and I do love how she looked and what she wore. I do wish that her like cape was a little bit more glamorous, like maybe a little bit longer or whatever. That she had a real Frigga vibe.
Okay,
I love that she's magic and he's an inventor.
Sure,
because it that was really interesting to me because
she's like a witch, and
and it's like she's the energy that his technology lives on.
Yeah.
And I love actually giving her a purpose other than just the dutiful wife. And I loved her little hairstyle with her like Whoville.
It was
like,
cute.
Hook.
Yeah.
Very juvenile.
Yeah.
Very. The plot was very stupid.
Because like I feel like I remember the plot in the first one.
It was weirdly edgy.
Kind of nuanced and like actually about like grief and like whatever. And this was just okay. I've also watched multiple movies like recently where kids are like this to their parents because we watched the movie Over the Moon, which was actually, it was very
I've heard it was very good.
Yeah, it was cute and it was beautiful. But it also had a daughter who was like, how dare you move on from my dead parent? And I just am like, can't relate.
I mean, yeah, but you are not the exception. You're the exception. You're not the rule, and you were a fool.
I was also 28 years old when my mom died, so it makes sense. But I also just like, I don't know. I don't totally understand, like, not even having a conversation. Like, she was, like, fully on vacation as a family with this man and was like, I don't like you.
Well, as you said, it was not nuanced.
Yeah. And the first one kind of was.
Those types of tropes, I feel like, can grate if they're not being dealt with a swift hand. And so, but yeah, nothing against, what was his name, Julian Morris?
Oh, God, I forgot his name. The elf, the bad elf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Julian Dennison. Belsnickel.
That's what it was.
Nothing against him. It just didn't really work for me. Like I said, I thought it was very stupid. I thought the entire plot was very dumb. So what I was getting out of this was pure escapism.
Goalie Han only.
Well, no, because I liked the fucking Star of Bethlehem. Like, we went to some Once Upon a Time places. We were like mining, and that's what I like from my fucking fantasy. Sure. And having to go to Turkey to find the original elves, and like I was into the adventure part and the fantasy part of this.
I agree with you because it's sort of like he was going to go start at the South Pole, and he was going to make like, and I'm like, but what are you going to do there? You're not going to. I mean, it's just so silly.
Breed fucking island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah.
Jackalotes. That was horrible. And it turned into Speed Racer in the middle.
Will said the island of Dr. Moreau as well.
Did he really?
He really did. He really did.
That was terrible.
It was really bad.
And there was a point where so Jola, I don't know the issue with Jola. It was giving me like Norse or Egyptian mythology where
the snow leopard?
Yeah, where Santa Claus and the snow leopard have this like vendetta as old as time.
Sure.
Where they're constantly like trying to get the other one.
But it's also fun.
But it's like, it's in like good fun. But like Jola comes to the reindeer pen and like attacks Dasher
like to the point of death.
Like the phrase, she's holding on for dear life.
Yeah. And I just was like, can we not do this to Santa's reindeer?
I was like, mother of God.
Yeah.
When they cut to her, just like.
She really was too. She really was like.
And then they couldn't like function without her.
Yeah.
It's
tough.
It was real rough.
So one might say she deserved to get hucked into the stratosphere.
Well, because that's the thing. I was like, she had a real trickster god vibe.
Yeah.
And so, considering how much I just praised this movie for its world building, a little more, like, I want a third one, and I want Rudolph. I think that could be fun. There's another. This is just a critique or it's not really a pet peeve. I don't really have a problem with it. But the name is Donder, and they were saying Donner.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Nobody ever says or spells it right.
Oh, okay. It might be one of the things that's just changed over time. Famously,
I think almost everybody says Donner now.
Famously, like the words naprin and nuncle.
Okay. Naprin is ridiculous.
It's not as dumb as nuncle.
No, but
naprin makes a bit more sense.
A bit.
So those evolved into the words apron and uncle.
Yeah. Nuncle. Weird.
Well, because I remember you were like, that is not true. And I was like, I read it on Tumblr. And I was like...
That's not the defense you think it is.
Christmas Chronicles. Let me think. That actually is all my notes. I'm trying to think if there was anything...
I think the boy, the son, I think he was hooking up with that chick to playing tennis or whatever they were doing. It was just a couple of weird asides where he was like, I'm going to hang out with this girl.
I don't know. I didn't appreciate him being...
sidelined. I wish he would have gone as
what's
well.
What's her fucking name?
Whose name?
I was going to impress you, and now I can't think of her name. Narnia.
Oh, Susan?
The oldest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got Susaned?
Yeah.
But he didn't...
Pevensey? Yeah.
That's their last name. But he still believed. He was like, you went back at the end. It wasn't that he didn't believe anymore.
But I mean, like, he just got dismissed from...
which I didn't care for. But it was probably because he was boning down. That's what happened to Susan.
Well, I can tell you one thing. It's happening in the North Pole as well.
That's true.
So, I guess more of a mixed bag where we're pretty forgiving.
I had a good time watching it. It's Christmas time. It was the first
like I said, for all the
Christmas
effect, the fucking veil was awesome.
Very cool.
When they land in there, I don't know what it is. I think because it feels incongruous, but I love when people land in like ice tundras, but it's like day. It's like bright
sunny.
Sky and sunny and stuff. And the kids were okay, a little on the precocious side, but I like him. I think he pulled it off a little better, but
I agree. I think for whatever reason, I think she might be in like a weird spot age-wise, because she was so good on Big Little Lies, and I think she might just have to like navigate to the next.
She's in a Bailey Madison transition.
Sure, yeah, she's very earnest, in an earnest place.
So yeah, I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
So from there, I guess we'll move to the main attraction.
This is where, if you have kids, you can stop listening to us. This movie's not for kids.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
So when I put it on, I was like, TVMA. I was like, am I watching the right thing? Okay, so the last movie we're going to talk about is Holidate. And the synopsis is, fed up with being single on holidays, two strangers agree to be each other's platonic plus ones all year long, only to catch real feelings along the way.
You don't say.
Directed by...
It was a lady,
John,
right?
No, this is John Whitesell, from a screenplay by Tiffany Paulson.
That was what it was.
It stars Emma Roberts, Luke Bracey, Jake Monley, Jessica Capshaw, Andrew Batchelor, Francis Fisher.
Oh yeah, Francis Fisher.
Alex Moffat, he's not on here, but Alex Moffat and Kristin Chenoweth.
Francis Fisher is the mom from Titanic.
Oh,
isn't she?
All I could think of was
Am I wrong?
Watchmen.
Oh, yeah. I might be wrong now that I
think she
said that out loud. Okay. Mrs. DeWitt Bucator.
This movie was very stupid, and I loved it so much.
What would you consider stupid about it?
The whole thing, it was very dumb.
Oh, I liked it.
I liked it too. It was very stupid, and I loved it.
It just didn't occur to me as being stupid.
It functioned plot wise. Mm-hmm. It's a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Oh, fair. That's fair.
And so I texted my mom because she loves those. Yeah. And I was like, turns out that all it takes for me to get into Hallmark Christmas movies is making them super smutty.
Yeah.
And then I'm there, then I'm in. But because the whole premise kind of doesn't make sense, because what's the point in doing this if your family knows it's what you're doing?
I don't think it's trying to trick your family. I think it's just so that you don't get set up by your family, and so that you have someone to be with on these holidays.
I just thought it was so your family will leave you alone and that you're not like...
Yeah, but it's still not tricking them, because it's like Kristin Chenoweth is doing the same thing the whole time too.
Sure.
And it appears she's been doing it for years.
I still think it would make more sense if they just were sort of like, this is my boyfriend. Because the mother is still trying to set her up.
I think I agree. I definitely agree with you that it's a little bit contrived, but at the same time, I think you have to do...
Holidate?
Yeah.
You think Holidate's a little bit contrived?
I think you have to do too much, like, external work if you were going to be like, this is my boyfriend. You would then have to, like, actually hang out and do stuff, and they were like, just for the holidays when you're, like, supposed to have someone. Yeah.
So I thought it was extremely funny in a very low-hanging fruit kind of way. I think Emma Roberts was great.
I think this is like absolutely her wheelhouse.
Peak.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We talked about her within the year. Oh, The Hunt.
Yeah.
And I was somehow confoundingly on the fence as to whether or not I was a fan. And
oh, no, I'm a fan.
Oh, I'm a super fan. I think the thing that I like the most about her is that she knows who she is and she stays in her goddamn lane. Like, she does not get herself places where she does not belong. And this was so good. And her chemistry with, like, Caldwell, Hemsworth, whatever. It was...
Holy shit. He was so goddamn handsome.
Luke Bracey.
Good Lord. I went to his IMDb and I was like, what else has he been in? And I was like, 285 episodes of Home and Away. Guess I'm going to watch an Australian soap opera now. Ridiculous. He's so handsome.
I had to sit on an ice pack.
He's tall and he's blonde and he's got a charming little smile and that stupid accent. Ugh. Yeah, every box. He checked every single box for me. You're
yelling.
I don't care.
I know. I'm there.
I loved him.
I'm there. I was.
He was, for me, he was the same as the French boy who like worked in the restaurant in Emily in Paris. It was like my breath every time he was on screen. I was like,
no, me too. Yeah. I could barely contain my erection every time.
It's like really tough.
Cut to that clip. No, I'm there. I was expecting you to take that baton from me and yank it out of my hand.
It's mine. My baton.
Is this the first guy we're gonna fight over?
Maybe. I loved him. I was in love with him. Don't watch Emily in Paris. You can have this guy if you let me keep the guy from Emily in Paris.
Sure.
So don't watch Emily in Paris.
Okay. I don't know. Which one has longer hair?
Emily in Paris.
What color?
Sort of a dirty blonde. Yeah. And he's French.
Yeah, but he's Australian. Australian's my thing. My Surrey.
Just like speaks French and everything. He cooks. This guy can't cook.
No.
This guy can't cook.
He's got a gross finger that you don't like.
That's true. He did blow his finger off in a just really stupid 4th of July accident.
That scene with Kristin Chenoweth going to town on his finger.
Oh, God. It was really creepy.
So I literally said that Luke Bracey is like a combination between Aaron Eckhart and Ryan Hansen.
That's fair. I buy that.
If you molded the two of them together.
Definitely. Because he's got that chiseled Aaron Eckhart face, but he's got that Ryan Hansen attitude. And
the affable
length. He's very a long man.
That fucking his first date, that girl.
Which girl?
The one before Emma Roberts.
Oh my God. The Christmas. Oh my God. That was so alarming. So he was like, they know that this is like our 3rd date, right? And then it literally smash cuts and he's wearing matching Christmas sweaters with all of them. And they're taking like almost what appear to be engagement photos. And it's just like so intense.
She's like, oh, you can come in my mouth, but you can't get me a Christmas present. Dude. In front of her parents.
Well, but also that's the kind of thing that I hate, where it's like, on the one hand, if you're a man, you should understand that when a girl says no presents, she's gonna still get you something. You should understand that.
But on the other hand, you shouldn't.
She said no presents.
No presents.
Yeah. She said no presents, and if you're on date 3, no one's going to buy you a present.
Yeah,
that was hilarious.
And then with Kristin Chenoweth, because I wrote down, I was like, I mean, there's wine aunt, there's vodka aunt, and then there's kerosene aunt. Yeah, and that's what
she is. I don't know. She's like, let's go get the antifreeze out of the car.
I really bought into all of it, and it's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of a movie that I hate. That one, The Ugly Truth with Katherine Heigl.
That movie is bad. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't think that Katherine Heigl and Gerard Butler were good together.
Yeah.
And they're just like this, the New Year's scene, like where she gives the girl her dress. It's like stuff like that is just like too interesting. Yeah. It's like too fun. It makes you like these characters. And then they do the stupid lift from Dirty Dancing and her tits fall out.
Yeah, it's funny. It was really funny.
I like the whole year. I like that it spanned a year, like getting to check in with these. Yeah. Because the implication is that they're not keeping in touch.
They don't see each other in between. Yeah.
The movie gets there, but I was really put off by how bad they were treating Farouk for a long period of time, because by all accounts, I think he's a real catch.
I think they weren't necessarily treating him badly, but Emma Roberts was just like hard not interested, and the mom just kept on being like, what about this guy? And it's like, yeah, that guy's great, but also like I'm not into it. So why do you keep bringing him around? I'm not going to marry a doctor just to make you feel better.
Yeah. So it was funny throwing Kristin Chenoweth at him, but they ended up getting a little bit more than I thought they were going to. So I think that works.
Look, also love Cheno to pieces. That's quite an age difference.
She's at a point.
I mean, I think that part of that was the point of her character, is that she's like a little bit over the hill, but it was like very funny.
I just remember when we were talking about American Gods, and I was like, I don't know whose skin that is.
It's not Kristin Chenoweth's skin.
The Ryan Gosling thing was so funny, and I fell for it.
Oh, the like, if Ryan Gosling was like in the grocery store or whatever, it was not actually Ryan Gosling. It's just a guy who looks like it. Oh, you just thought it was actually him? Oh,
I really did. And I was like, that is good.
That's like almost as good as Brad Pitt's cameo in Deadpool.
I really wish it was, especially just because of the way out of focus. You can see him kind of being like,
yeah. I also, it also is fun because it's like
if it were real Ryan Gosling, they would have shined too much of a light on it and it wouldn't have worked.
But I liked it also because of the thing that they did at New Year's, which is like in that movie, Crazy Stupid Love. It's like Ryan Gosling's go-to move to get a girl to sleep with him is like, he's like, I put on the soundtrack, I tell him I can do it. And then then we go to bed. And I was like, it's very funny.
Okay, I brought this up a few times, and I'm going to bring it up again now, but I had gotten confused back when Set It Up, or the Setup, the one with
Zoe.
Yeah. I somehow thought that it was going to be the start of like a cinematic universe.
Oh.
And I really liked that idea because people keep trying to copy the MCU by doing the same thing. And that doesn't always work. And I thought, how funny would it be if Netflix had a romantic comedy cinematic universe?
Where you can just like believe that all of these things happen in the same universe?
Like where a Christmas prince and a princess switch like have a sequel together. They go to like...
Just like the most disorganized EU.
Well, and I kind of thought that they would sort of... characters would sort of like go from one to the next. Sure. So I kind of thought the best friend in one movie would end up being the star of another one, would end up being like, and I even thought that they could like, because these movies have all kinds of weird little memorable roles. Like in that Set It Up movie, there was like a girl that worked at like the jewelry store and she was really funny. And I was like, what if we went that way?
Yeah.
And this one, I was like, just especially with the full year, this could have had so many
cameos.
Yeah. Little like ins and outs and stuff. And like, I love a world where it's like, we could run into Kristin Chenoweth at any moment.
Yeah. Like she could just be around the corner.
She could be the Stanley.
Oh my God. Amazing. So in which case it's the Kristin Chenoweth cinematic universe.
Well, sure. But so I don't know, Netflix. I don't know if you take suggestions. I'll take a check.
Yeah, we'll take a finder's fee for this.
I can write.
Gem of an idea.
But I was completely there. There was a song that was playing at one of the parties, and I loved it. I was like, oh my God, what is this? And I tagged it, and it was Ally X.
Oh.
How many times have we played that game?
So much.
Anytime you hear a song that you like, you're like, who is this? I'm like, Ally X.
Yeah.
So All the Rage by Ally X.
Nice.
I don't remember. It started to peter out at the end for me, but I just said that's what it was. It was how happy he was to hear that she stopped smoking.
Oh, yeah.
And then he started eating candy.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I loved it so much. I'm going to go home and watch it.
Okay. I think it's going to go in my rotation is the thing. I think it's going to go in my Christmas movie rotation because I really
Is it a Christmas movie?
It starts and ends with Christmas.
So you would?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can watch it whenever.
Because I was going to say it's actually year round, but her in the corset. I hate that potty humor works so well for me. But like one of the hardest I've ever laughed, like almost passed out, got lighthearted, almost passed out. The room started to spin. Was Sex and the City.
Oh, yeah. In the second one. Or no, it's the first one. It's the first movie, yeah.
But her, and the fact that she's in a properly laced up corset.
Yeah.
And a man can't.
No.
Especially Chet Hemsworth can't undo.
It's true.
But it was just, I don't know, it was so good, and all of the romantic cliches were just right.
So the only one that bothered me is like after they sleep together and they have like the world's dumbest miscommunication. I was like, oh my God, one of you say one thing that's true and we can avoid having this issue until Thanksgiving.
But in that case, I was glad that they were interrupted by her sister with an actual crisis.
An actual problem, yeah.
Because she kissed, what was his name? He was in The Babysitter.
Oh shit, was that him?
Yeah,
I forget his
apparently
name.
He was like a Vine person.
Yeah, he was good.
Black Panther.
I thought he was a little weird in this movie. I think there were too many other characters.
There were so many characters.
He didn't get to bring enough to it like I thought he should, but he was dressed like the Black Panther, but it was just like
he was just a
black cat panther. And so Jessica Capshaw kissed him at the Halloween party, and then her long-suffering husband, Alex Moffat, finds out. So I do actually wish that we would have gotten one more scene with the two of them, because
it's almost like I wish that they had their own movie coming out.
Yeah. I just think that needed to be resolved, because he was like, he's the husband who like never goes out with the rest of them because he's taking care of the kids. But it's like, your mom is right there. Let the mom take care of the kids and go out with your wife every once in a while.
The mom.
Well, but
she seems like she was hanging out with Mary Steenburgen
for one
from
night.
Happiest Season.
You can't let the kids stay for one night with the mom. That's all I'm saying, is that it's like it was a total issue of their own making, and it was so easy to fix if, like, you know. And I mean, she didn't have sex with the guy. She just kissed him. But it was like, he was like, I can't believe you did that while I'm doing this. And she's like, that's what you're always doing. You're always doing that.
I did get his whole, like, well, somebody has to take care of the kids.
I totally, of course. I'm just saying there's a middle ground between, like, one parent staying home all the time and both parents being absentee.
So, yeah, I think that's, I mean, honestly, we could have done our own episode for Holidate, but
probably.
I think that's good for now. So, we recommend it all.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it all. It's Christmas time.
Especially if you have medium expectations.
It's Christmas time. All you want is sort of content you can have on in the background for the most part. Both Christmas Chronicles movies, Jingle Jangle and Holidate, are all on Netflix. Godmothered is on Disney Plus for streaming. Yeah.
And Happiest Season is on Hulu.
Which we did a separate episode for that a couple weeks ago.
Apparently a huge hit. So
huge hit. It was like their most watched thing
ever.
Like, yeah.
So
it was very good. I think that's probably the best film of the 5.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I think I would rewatch Holidate the most often, for sure. So, yeah. All right. Well, as always, you can follow us on Twitter @SoI'mWatching, Instagram @SoI'mWatchingThisShow. We are also have a website, soI'mWatching.com. And if you're looking at our beautiful faces right now, we're on YouTube. Don't make an ugly face when I say beautiful faces. And you can subscribe on YouTube, and you can rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And that's it for us. Bye.